I congratulate all the personnel of all military units that participated in the defeat of the neo-Nazi formations that invaded Russian territory in the Kursk region. The adventure of the Kyiv regime has completely failed, and the enemy has suffered enormous losses, including among the most combat-ready, trained and equipped forces, including those with Western models of equipment.
Our military, they continue to carry out tasks in the territories of the Kursk and Belgorod regions, maintaining our presence on Russian territory, Pokrovsk, all directions in Donetsk region. I want to thank our soldiers for their resilience. Simply well done. Especially good results from the 3rd Brigade of the National Guard's operational assignment in the Pokrovsk direction. We hold our position strong to ensure all possibilities for the correct diplomacy.
Greetings, comrades of the Kromgul Command.
Comrade, the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, today, the Ukrainian units have been expelled. The last settlement in the Kursk region, the village of Gornal. Thus, the defeat of the armed formations of the armed forces of Ukraine that invaded the Kursk region has been completed. The plans of the Kyiv regime to create the so-called strategic foothold and disrupt our offensive in the Donbass have failed. I would like to specifically note the participation in the liberation of the border areas. In the Kursk region, the servicemen of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, who, in accordance with the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement between our countries, provided significant assistance in defeating the armed group in Ukraine. The soldiers and officers of the Korean People's Army, carrying out combat missions shoulder to shoulder with Russian servicemen, demonstrated high professionalism, showed resilience, courage, and heroism in battle. Of forces, underground, landing. Comrade Supreme Commander, currently, in the liberated areas of the Kursk region, operations are being conducted to identify individual Ukrainian armed forces servicemen attempting to hide on Russian territory. Forest areas, basements, and abandoned buildings are being checked. Local authorities are being assisted in restoring peaceful life. Personnel of the 11th and 10th Assault Brigades in the 30th Rifle Regiment and Detachment, in accordance with your instructions, the creation of a security zone in the border areas of the Sumy region, Ukraine, continues. 4 settlements have been liberated. The total area of the controlled territory is over 90 square kilometers. In addition, in the Belgorod region, the North Troop Group has completed the destruction of Ukrainian sabotage groups in the area of the settlement of Popovka. Search and elimination of individual Ukrainian armed forces soldiers hiding in border forest areas are being conducted. In other directions, the Combined Forces Troop Group continues to carry out tasks in accordance with the plan of the special military operation.
I congratulate all the personnel of all military units that participated in the defeat of the neo-Nazi formations that invaded Russian territory in the Kursk region. The adventure of the Kyiv regime has completely failed, and the enemy has suffered enormous losses, including among the most combat-ready, trained and equipped forces, including those with Western models of equipment. These are assault units, special forces, which will undoubtedly affect the entire line of combat contact. The complete defeat of the enemy in the Kursk border area creates conditions for further successful actions of our troops or in other crucial sectors of the front. It brings closer the defeat of the neo-Nazi regime. I congratulate the entire personnel, all the soldiers and commanders on this success, on the victory. Thank you for your courage, heroism, and service to our fatherland and the people of Russia. Thank you.
Dear Ukrainians, Ukrainian women, today, there have already been several reports from the head of Masirski on the situation at the front. Our military, they continue to carry out tasks in the territories of the Kursk and Belgorod regions, maintaining our presence on Russian territory, Pokrovsk, all directions in Donetsk region. I want to thank our soldiers for their resilience. Simply well done. Especially good results from the 3rd Brigade of the National Guard's operational assignment in the Pokrovsky direction. We hold our position strong to ensure all possibilities for the correct diplomacy. The Russians talk a lot about their supposed readiness to accept American proposals, but so far, nothing. There are no signs of the Russian army preparing for a real ceasefire. On the contrary, since the major day, the occupier has resumed their usual assault activity, and indeed, at the cost of significant losses, the Russians are trying to advance. And every day of such battles on the front line, clearly proves that Russia is indeed trying to deceive the world, to fool America and others, and continue to prolong this war. And therefore, pressure is needed. Without pressure, it is impossible for the Russians to take all the steps to do everything necessary to stop the war. Yesterday's meetings in the Vatican and Rome confirmed that our partners understand what is happening. Ukraine then needs to move as quickly as possible. In diplomacy, 47 days ago, we agreed to the American proposal for an unconditional ceasefire, and subsequently, we gave the Russians our own proposals to stop attacks on civilian targets. At least that. But they and Moscow respond with drones, missiles, artillery, and new assaults. A proper response is needed with new sanctions and even greater pressure. Of course, it is America that can take the most significant steps. Significant for Russia. Just overnight. Today, the Russians used almost 150 attack drones against Ukraine. Since March 11th, when America, following victories in Saudi Arabia, proposed a complete and unconditional ceasefire, the Russians have used almost 8,500 aerial bombs, nearly 200 missiles of various types, and almost 3 Shahed drones. The absolute majority of them are conventional cities, civilian targets. This needs to stop. Russia must cease the strikes, and unconditionally. I thank everyone in the world who is helping us with this, who is helping to make diplomacy strong. And today, I especially want to acknowledge, personally, our Ukrainian rescuers, the entire team of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, all the municipal services involved in our National Police of Ukraine. I thank everyone who saves lives every day. Thousands of people across our country are working to provide help as quickly as possible to save as many lives as possible. I would like to specifically mention the rescuers from Kyiv region, who worked this week after the Russian strike. Alexander Bobko, Alexander Kravchenko, Hennady Petrivsky, Yuri Shpak, employees of the 10th State Fire and Rescue Unit. I want to thank all of you. Alexander Poranevich, Ruslan Kravchenko, Oleg Rybalko, Alexander Ukhatenko, 18. State, Fire, and Dome Rescue Unit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Employees of the Mobile Rescue Center for Rapid Response of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. Ivan Mirashnichenko, Ivan Koval, Alexander Shtrivo, Anatoly Sherbinok, Mikhailo Kudrenko, Ihor Litvinenko, Dmitro Koroshovko. Thank you. And also the employees of the Special Purpose Emergency Rescue Unit from the Kyiv region. This is Denis Ukatenko, Alexander Mykoda, Ivan Robov. Thank you. Guys, from the Cherkasy region, also employees of the Emergency Rescue Unit, who helped right here in Kyiv. Vadim Puhai, Ole, Herish, Andriy, Panteleyev, thank you. Thank you to each and everyone who works for our people. Thank you, all, to all of you who defend Ukraine.